I think compositions are really important when you're, trying to write music. Also, just for me personally, like I really like to focus on composition and like everything that you were saying, like how music changes over time and how people grow and like all those things go into writing and what you like and what you want to put out into the world.
Hello and welcome to Start the Beat with Sykes. My name is Sykes and this is my podcast. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank everyone who checked out the last episode. If you're one of those people, y'all are one of those people, thanks so much for coming back. But if you're new to the show, feel free to make yourselves at home. And as always, there's beer and soda in the fridge. I neglect and I apologize for the lack of beer in the room right now, but I'll tell you this. 6 people at a table with a bunch of beers, it gets unproductive real quick. But I'd be happy to share some pints with you after this. So I think that's my intro. I don't know what I'm doing anymore, nor do I really care. How's everybody feeling today out there?
Feeling good.
Feeling great. I'm sitting here today by 5/5 of the rock and roll legends. Brightside, make some noise for the internet.
Yeah. Oh, are we supposed to? Internet?
The studio audience is clapping. Happy that y'all are here. So it's a rare occurrence for me to have this many people in the room. I'm happy you all wanted to come and talk. Excited. So since you are all here, why don't we introduce ourselves so people can get familiar with your lovely voices and tell us a bit about why y'all are here. Start with Matt.
Matt.
Cool.
Here because we were asked to.
No, we asked.
Oh, did we ask?
Yeah. We asked you, though.
Thanks, Matt. I'm Steve here as well. I play the bass guitar.
Cool.
I'm Dylan. I play the drums.
I'm Isaiah. I also play bass and guitar.
Yeah, you do. Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Matt. I play guitar.
Cool.
And we're here to promote our band.
Here to promote your band. You got some new music,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Let's chat a bit about that. What's the new shit? What's going on? Who wants to take the reins?
Gosh, we put out a single a few months ago. It's from an album that's coming out next year. It's just a fun love song for the kids.
What's it called, man?
Hell yeah.
It's called Just Like Dancing. You can find it on YouTube and stuff. So, YouTube and stuff.
Awesome.
Spotify probably.
Is there a release date for the new record?
No.
Nah.
No release date. We should probably not say release date. There is another single coming out
On Tuesday.
Yeah, on Tuesday. But
Cool. That means that single is released by the time this episode goes up, so people can check out Just Like Dancing. What's the single that's out now?
It's called
Wink, wink.
This Time.
This time?
Yeah.
Tight. So let's get into the origins of the band a bit. Brightside has been a band for more than a couple years. Y'all have been around for a while. Who wants to take the reins on the origins questions? Who started this band? Who's responsible for this?
Yeah,
Matt V
not
and I
me.
started this band. But, we were in a band in high school, and then that kind of fell apart. So we went on Craigslist and looked for a drummer, and then found Dylan.
Yeah, I was on Craigslist.
Hell yeah.
Looking for a little something.
When was that?
2010 or 9.
Yeah. 10 probably.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's almost 10 years has almost already flown by then.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
success.
So, what are your reflections on, still doing, independent music for a decade with, pretty much the same band? I know that some of y'all play in other projects and have played in other projects and things like that too, but you're still doing Brightside. So what's that been like looking back on a decade of this project?
It's embarrassing.
In what way?
No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's a valid answer, to be honest with you. I think that's one thing that a lot of people aren't honest enough about sometimes. I know you're maybe making a half joking, but maybe half serious answer in some ways.
It's like a 75% serious answer.
Yeah. it can be hard. Is it just kind of like a thing where it's wow, I can't believe we're still doing this? And Or is it just like a thing like I should be doing something else with my adult life? Or is it just like a mixture of all those things?
Well, I think we definitely put less pressure on ourselves now than ever. And it's kind of just something we do for fun. And we don't think we suck yet, so it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
As long as we're still making music that we're happy with.
Yeah, that's when the magic happens, when you get the pressure off. And I think that's something that just comes with time and age.
Yeah.
I think whenever you're younger and you're doing rock and you have a lot of friends that are in bands, I guess if it's rock or not rock, it doesn't matter. It's really easy to get stressed out and just
for sure.
feel like it's some sort of a silent competition. Sometimes it's not so silent. It depends on the people.
It's true.
But it could be really quite a headache. So with the album that is going to be coming out in a couple months, what can you tell me about it?
Slaps pretty hard.
Slaps
yeah.
pretty hard.
That sounds really
It's
good.
on fire.
So you got all this, you got all the songs written and everything now. You're just kind of in the process of recording.
Most of it's like already recorded. Now it's just like finishing up some vocals and late instrumentation. So it's close. We just gotta like do it, which is like harder than it sounds.
Yeah, is that like just a byproduct of just other stuff going on in life and juggling
Yeah.
the schedule of 4 other males?
Yeah.
Just trying to figure it out. Like,
Exactly.
It's crazy. Like I'm the youngest dude in Gray Walker, and I'm 34 years old. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm like the baby of the band, but like 34 is not young by any means. But it's so funny because it's like, oh, I can't, gotta. Nina's sick. Gotta take my daughter to the thing. Gotta do this. It's like it's fun at least now. Band practices and things get shifted for reasons that are a little bit better rather than just like, oh, Sarah's mad at me, guys. Like I can't go come to practice and like all that like silly stuff that used to happen back in high school and shit. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
With the Pittsburgh music scene, let's get into this ecstatic question.
Pittsburgh.
This is a Pittsburgh music podcast. You're a Pittsburgh band. You've been playing since 2010. So you've been through all the ups and downs of what I feel the Pittsburgh music scene has gone through over the past decade. I feel like 2010 was like a good time. I think like you came in at like a pretty active, fun time. There was a lot of cool bands. Then 2012, 2013, it seemed like it kind of like died, and then it was gone for a few years. And then 2016, 17, it started to come back.
Yeah.
Is that like? Do you recognize that as well?
Definitely. I think so. I mean, like, I don't know. I think the big thing that happened, I think that changed music in Pittsburgh, we were all kind of part of, like the death part. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, during those years, we played like every single show, and then we stopped playing shows. And like you said, so like part of that is like there just like weren't as much going on. But like during those early years, I feel like we were playing a show probably once a week, at least, like house shows. Garfield was like real active. Most Wanted. Yeah. And then like that just like stopped, as you said, probably like 2012, 2013.
It's so funny because it's real easy to think that maybe that was just like a particular bubble or certain scene of bands where things fell off. But everybody that I've talked to, it seemed like it was pretty universal across all genres. Like it wasn't just like, like house show scene or Roboto stuff. It was like, heavy metal, dude fest at the Smiling Moose shows were dead. And like everything else was gone. Like there was no rap shows. There arguably haven't been hip hop shows in the city for like the past 10 years period. Pretty much ever since the Shadow Lounge closed, it's been really hard to like get a new community going. So Brightside, you said like kind of like took a step back for some time in that area.
We probably broke up like 2 or 3 times in that period as well.
True, for
actually.
sure.
Yeah.
2012, I think, yeah. I mean, I came in 2013.
Yeah.
So yeah, prior to that, I don't think you guys were doing a whole lot.
Steve
And-
is our 3rd bass player.
Yeah.
So yeah, before that, we broke up, got a new bass player, and then broke up, got a new bass player.
And I mean, like, imagine it's like, I don't know. It's like a. I mean, I don't know how like old everybody is specifically in the band, but if I just had to like make an assumption, I'd say like mid-20s is probably a fair range, right? So probably like 4 or 5 years ago, you're getting into that like late like you're not a teenager anymore, becoming an adult and like figuring out what the fuck am I going to be doing and juggling all this stuff. It's like a really hard time to be in a band, I think, unless it's like things are working super, super good. It's like it can be really hard to prioritize it.
For sure, especially in Pittsburgh.
No, I was just saying, yeah.
But yeah, especially in Pittsburgh, where it's not like, bands are just making it all the time. Like, you're not just seeing this amount of success. So I feel like with those like ebbs and flows of the scene, almost like it kind of like is like I don't know, like everybody's trying really hard, and I feel like there's not, for a lot of bands, there's not that huge payoff. So I feel like you see, as people get older, kind of like collectively, you see people kind of falling off and stuff, and then it kind of gets reignited in the younger generations and stuff like that, like a cycle, you know what I mean? But
I feel like that's what was happening whenever things stopped for a while in 2012. It was like whenever we came in, there were people that were in their mid 20s to late 20s that were running that scene, and then they all kind of decided to stop playing or stop taking it so seriously, and it took a while before new kids came in. So I think that's what happened.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how like so many threads of the local music scene are just like held together just by like a couple people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's so funny. Like let's just say like Brett Shoemaker stopped doing shows.
Yeah.
Like what would happen?
It would crumble.
Like there would be like a
Yeah.
whole,
Nothing left.
Yeah.
like because like that's he's a really important pillar for a lot of people in a big scene. But like if you pulled that one piece out, it'd be like the block that knocks the whole Jenga tower.
100%. 100%. He's just one of those people too that's just working so hard, so consistently too, that I feel like, if Brett wasn't doing what he's doing, then kids just wouldn't have stuff to do. You know what I mean? Especially in like the all ages realm, because I would say 9 out of 10 shows that Brett has a hand in are all ages, and like just for those, like especially for me, like when I was growing up, having access to those shows, those are the only shows I was going to. You know what I mean? So definitely awesome, but super tough.
And I think that's the other thing too. Like, it seems to happen a lot where you just get promoters that get a little bit older and they get tired of it, and then it takes some time for somebody to like pick the ball back up. And even once somebody does pick it up, it takes a while for it to actually start rolling.
Yeah, for sure. To figure
so a lot
it
of
out.
people will book 1 or 2 shows and be like, fuck this, I don't want to do this. And people
It's a college thing. They're like, I'm going to have house shows in college, and then maybe you get one house for a couple years, and then it's gone.
Get a real job, and that's it. You can't have you're not having house shows whenever you're like an engineer. I don't know.
So what was the thing now that Brightside is back, y'all are here smiling, having a good time, you got some new music you're excited about. What was the thing that got the band back together? Was there anything in particular, or just like I imagine you all like stay in touch throughout like the time frame when you weren't
which time? You got to be more specific.
huh?
Which time?
Like this most recent
current.
era, like right now, like before where we're at now, which seems like a pretty productive time since you're recording a new album.
Well, I lived with Matt V last year. Now I live with Dylan, so I still have to see everyone.
So like you were all still in touch. It was just like everybody just had their own shit going on, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I moved away, and then
Yeah.
Steve
And then,
moved away.
Dylan was away.
But then I got back.
Yeah,
I
the
wasn't
year that we broke up, like he moved away, Dylan moved away, and we all just kind of like stopped hanging out and kind of like got our collective shit together in our own way.
That
And
happens.
then we didn't hate each other.
I think we did spend a lot of time together before that, and like gone on some tours and lots of FaceTime with each other. And I just don't think we were like really happy. So like kind of breaking up and then having Dylan kind of leave was a nice reset, because then it was like, all right, a year we didn't really do anything music. I mean, I'm sure we all did individual stuff, but we didn't do anything Brightside for that year. And then it came back. We were less pressure, a little bit more refreshed, excited to be back into it after that time off.
Yeah, sometimes you need to take those breaks from family. You know what I mean? Like I feel like everybody that I'm in a band with, I feel like they're my brothers, and like, but I get fucking sick of them. Like if we're together too much in a space, they're heavy metal guitar players. They get real heated over riffs and tone changes and things like that, which is tight. I'm here for it. But like, sometimes you just need to take a break. And we had like while we haven't done any like technical breaking up, we've definitely had our like periods of time where it's just like we're not doing anything for a few months, like just whatever. Like maybe we'll practice, maybe we won't. We'll see what happens. But we need just to focus on other things.
Yeah.
It's super rough. But outside of, being in a band and playing music and shows and recording and things like that, there's a lot of fun things about hanging out and being friends and stuff like that. Do you get to spend, I know you mentioned some of you live together and things like that. Do you spend a lot of time outside of the practice space, outside of shows together? Do you get to do that?
Yeah, nonstop. I work with Isaiah.
Yeah, we work
Isaiah
together.
probably once a
with
week.
him.
Yeah, we see movies a lot together.
Yeah, lived with Dylan for like 6 years.
Yes,
Yeah.
Steve and I also like went to elementary school together.
No
so,
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys also known each other since.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
known Matt V for like 10 plus years.
Yeah, I've known
Yeah.
Dylan since we were like 9.
Yeah.
So going on 20 years now. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It is crazy.
I feel like that chemistry is what really I think helps keep a band together and thriving. Just like having that connection with each other and everybody knowing what's going on in everyone's individual lives and not being this thing where I've been in bands where I don't see the people that I'm in a band with. We see each other at practice for those 2 or 3 hours. And it's why the fuck is so and so grumpy? And you have no idea because they don't even you don't even know what's going on in their life.
Yeah.
And it's good to know those things because music's a real. I feel like in best case scenario, it's a really intimate, personal thing that you're sharing with other people. And if you're writing music that's supposed to be emotive in some sort of way, I guess not all music is emotive. LMFAO wasn't necessarily a very emotive band. I don't know why I thought of them, but that's what happened.
True.
Party rocking is
Listen,
Yeah.
party rocking is
Yeah.
emotive.
It's more of a vibe, I think.
Yeah. I can't. It's hard to argue that. It's very, very.
Party rock.
But just being able to be in a space and know what's going on, so you can know where everybody's coming from, and you give the songs that proper attention.
100%.
So, let's say Brightside finishes a gig. Is there a go-to spot after a gig for getting some food or drinks or both? That's like a Brightside staple that the people need to know about.
We all go the fuck home.
That's very true. The closest Kogo's to get cigarettes.
Yeah.
Just so sleepy.
Just go home.
Yeah, we do tend to be very sleepy after
So
the gigs.
yeah, I guess outside of, so that's the thing. I guess outside of your, time writing music together or going to the movies and things like that, do you find yourselves to be more just kind of low key people, not necessarily go out get crazy party rockers? If you will?
I think we're definitely not party rockers.
I think we've all had our times of party rocking.
Yeah.
But I know me personally, I've chilled out a lot the last few years. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us are homebodies for the most part. And if we are party rocking, we're party rocking on the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
Yeah,
to
for
have
sure.
a casual drink in a meal,
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
not so much party rocking, but
Yeah.
No, I have been known to hit the town. I'm not gonna lie. I might go out here. They're Dylan even,
Yeah,
Oh, Dylan party rocks.
Dylan gets pretty wild as well.
I see Matt
Matt-
W. at Remedy for a while on
Matt
my
W
bike
also
ride
gets pretty
home.
wild, yeah.
Frequently.
I would say this side of the
I
table
drink
still
it.
party rocks pretty hard. Yeah.
It's,
Well, from the couch.
it's funny. I just feel like I got really burned out on it just from playing shows. I feel like this weekend, for example, I had that was last weekend. I definitely played a show on Friday. Last weekend, I didn't have any shows, and I was like, "What am I gonna do? Where am I gonna go?
Yeah.
Nowhere.
Mhm.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
Just being able to chill at home. I already have beer that I bought that
Yeah.
I could drink.
Yeah.
I was paying for this Disney Plus subscription.
Yeah.
I should
Yeah.
probably finally watch Frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
Nah.
Did you watch both of them?
Nah, I think the second one's in theaters.
Oh, it's in
right now.
theaters
Maybe I'll
right
have to go
now.
see it together.
Yeah, I thought the first one was all right. Yeah, we'll go see. We'll go see.
I've seen that twice already.
I think that you
only
know,
twice.
Only twice.
Well,
I don't
Frozen
know.
2.
This has
Oh,
nothing to
yeah.
do with anything really, but I just felt like on the spectrum of what I personally like about a Disney movie, Frozen fell a little short.
Yeah.
I think I just didn't like the songs,
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, I thought
don't
it was
know.
it was
It's-
fine,
But it's not made for me.
Yeah.
It's not like when
True.
Disney had their meeting about
Instead of
fucking
a big picture
Frozen.
view.
Yeah, here's our target demo. It was
Yeah.
not me, so
Yeah.
it's totally fine. I'm not supposed to like it,
Yeah.
But I do like Disney stuff, and I think it's cool to have those guilty pleasures or whatever.
Mhm.
how do you all feel about the concept of the guilty pleasure? Do you think that guilty pleasures are a thing, or is it just like, I like what I like. I don't even feel bad about it.
I think like when music, guilty pleasures are something I find myself
very true.
saying out loud. Like if it's like,
what would be like a good
like
guilty
fastball,
pleasure for you?
like a '90s band that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like I like that band. I don't know. When it's like movies and stuff, I think it's just depending on when you saw it, you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with music, I care less and less about like telling people that I like or something that's popular. I'm like, yeah, that song rocks. Maybe when I was like 20, I would have kept that to myself.
We've talked
I did go see Katy Perry with Dylan when we were,
She was on fire.
Oh yeah, it was great.
She came out on a
back in the
cotton
day.
candy cloud. You don't get that at a basement show.
Yeah, that's
No.
true. You don't.
The production was amazing.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, so like obviously that's not like the highest form of art. So I think when it comes to guilty pleasures, you're like, all right, this is low art. I understand this. This is not like my favorite thing in the world, but I like it.
Yeah.
It's catchy.
It's
It's stuck
okay
in
to
my
have
head.
fun.
Yeah,
So it's not a
it's not the
guilty
best
pleasure.
song in the
It's
world,
just like,
but it's catchy.
it's
yeah.
good.
Doesn't necessarily
Fine.
leave you thinking.
That new T
about
Swift
them, but
album
it's
ain't
okay.
bad. It's not great, but it's like not bad.
I don't know.
I haven't-
Whatever. Listen to pop music. It's fine.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I think that all that stuff's a lot of fun to listen to, and I think that even if it is low art, if you will, I think there's plenty to learn from it in terms of writing songs. Just because it's always interesting to try to like reverse engineer pop music and figure out what makes it catchy and why certain songs work.
For sure.
Even songs that you absolutely detest. It's like it's really interesting to me how things can work and how trends happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like dissecting that stuff and trying to apply it in little ways to my stuff. I mean, it doesn't. And I don't make pop music by any means.
Oh,
but
we're trying to only make
Pop music.
pop music.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a song on the new album that I didn't do this on purpose, but it kind of rips off the Chainsmokers. And I found it out recently, and so before someone calls me out on it, I know.
But it's funny like how just those influences can kind of like unintentionally sneak their way in. It's almost like, are you a little bit lamer than you thought you were? Or are the Chainsmokers a little bit cooler than you thought you were?
I think it's
Tough
both.
question.
See, you're here for the tough questions. Like that.
It's a real
I mean, I
chicken and the egg
definitely
type deal.
since I realized it, I've definitely listened to that song a lot more, and I've been like, why?
No.
What made me
How?
steal that riff?
No.
It's not even a riff; it's just like a 2-second clip. I'm just like, stole it.
It's an interesting time because it's hard to really write something that is truly original. And I find myself stressing out about it less and less as I don't know, I guess it's maturing or maybe it's just getting lazy. Maybe it's a mixture of the both. I'm not sure, but now I think when I was younger, I was a lot more worried about like what my peers were doing and if what they were like what kind of music they were making and how it was going to play well with the bands I was playing with. I would think about that a lot. Like I know that we're playing a lot of shows with this band and we got to have something that's a little bit heavier or, a sicker breakdown or a crazier part or we got to get crazy. Now I'm just like, I don't know. Like this is something that I like. It makes me like laugh because I'm like, okay, this is cool. And then just go with it. Even if it is like a little bit too pop or if it's like a little bit too insane. Like whatever makes me happy.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And that's what it should be, making music for yourself and, trying to be as honest with certain emotions and communicate them in a way that people can receive them, And I think that's the biggest thing with pop music is like there's definitely good things in it. And like one thing that pop music has down is accessibility. They're communicating things to people in large masses. And it's
fun when pop stars can like have their own unique voice. Like even though like a lot of the compositions are like fundamentally identical, it's still like you can't argue that like Cardi B has her own voice.
For sure.
Nothing else in the world sounds exactly like Cardi B.
Definitely.
Or like Katy Perry. Like you could put on any Taylor Swift song. I've probably never heard it. I'd be like, oh, this is Taylor Swift. It's like she has her own unique voice in the way she does stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's like not anything to really write off. Like there's a lot of That's a special thing to have your own voice in your music like that.
Definitely.
And have somebody like me know who you are. Like, I don't listen to that stuff, but I can hear it and I'll know.
Yeah. It's definitely one element that I think is crucial. You know what I mean? Because at that very base level, even no matter how big of a pop star you are, I think that there needs to be that level of like, you know, this is that person's music on some level. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just how I feel about it.
Do you feel that when you're writing songs, whether it's with Brightside or any other projects, do you feel that like maybe if there has been a change over the past decade, do you feel that that change is a result of like aging or a result of just becoming more technically talented or a result of like the way that maybe pop music or just whatever music is popular in the genre that you're writing, like how it has shifted? Do you think any of those things have affected the way you write songs, or do you feel like you write songs the same way that you did 10 years ago?
We all just like get in a room and just like play. Yeah. It's like how we write everything, so everything takes a really long time to do it.
So you're always like
jam band,
dishing stuff out in the space together.
Yeah, I think I can. There's one song that, or one or maybe two songs that Mavi was like, "Hey, I have this like one chorus," and then we build a song around it. But every other time, it's just like, "Nope, we're in the space. Play something until it sounds good."
That's super cool, and I feel like that's something that's a little bit rarer these days. It may not be as rare for bands that are still doing just more like traditional rock format stuff, but like so many bands, at least in like the world that I'm mostly in, like the heavy metal world, is all like we're building these songs around these backtracks and everything's all like timed and like, you know, pretty much like writing is the same as pre-production. You know what I mean? Like I got all these sick guitar parts tabbed out, and now I got to learn it. You know, it's like this like weird thing. We don't necessarily write like that with Grey Walker, but I've been in bands that have written like that, where it's like everything's written in Guitar Pro, and then like, everybody learns it on their own, and then they get to the space and they somehow know it. Like, you fucking freaks! This is so weird.
I don't think that's invalid. I mean,
it's cool. It's just a different way.
It's definitely different, and it's a lot. It's really fun to get in a room with everybody and just like have things come out and happen the way that, you know, happen naturally. But I think composition's really important when you're, you know, trying to write music. But like that's also just for me personally, like I really like to focus on composition and like everything that you were saying, like how music changes over time and how people grow and like all those things go into writing and what you like and what you want to put out into the world, how you think about music, and ends up affecting the composition. So like, you know, it's that's all. That's just one way of doing it.
Yeah.
Both are valid, but
the one thing
I think both can yield different kinds of results that you know, may touch people in different ways, if you will.
Totally. The one thing that I think is super cool about writing stuff in like a pre-production format is that it's a lot easier to experiment with song structures and compositions and actually being able to sit there and see everything on the screen and be like, what if this chorus was half as long here and then we did it again over here, and like you could just like move that stuff around and hear it crystal clear. That, and you actually get a real quick grasp on like if everybody's actually playing the songs right, because sometimes when you're in a practice space, and especially if you have a 5-piece band, like it's not uncommon sometimes for like one guitar player to maybe be playing something a little different, like a weird step off, and like you never notice it until you get into the studio, and it's just like, you've been playing that like that this whole time? We've been playing this song for 2.5 years, and it's that we haven't been playing the same thing. So it's fun to be able to do that pre-production sort of stuff, just so like you have a more I don't know, like a more robotic like knowledge of what the song actually is.
I feel that we kind of do that though, because we're like all right, we got these 2 parts, and we'll be like, all right, so it's gonna be this part and then this part, and then we'll be like, what if we do it half, and then we'll do it.
Yeah,
and then we'll all play it.
You could totally do it. Like there's definitely, it's just, I think it's it requires a little bit more patience, but it's definitely doable.
But
you fuck with like dry erase boards or anything, and it like writes out song structures and
absolutely.
things like that.
That's why our last album came out 4 years ago,
And,
or actually 5. 6 almost.
7.
The thing that's super dangerous about that is maybe you have locked this in, but what I've noticed in my time being in bands and writing songs like that is everybody's idea of like what the part is always different.
Yeah.
It's like we're gonna do that part 2 times, and it's like, but it's like one time
Talking
for
about
somebody
the bridge
else.
or the chorus.
So we're always like everybody's all mixed up, and like there's always like we'll write on the board one week like like jazzy twang part, and then next week it's like what was that part again? Like people don't remember what the parts are named and things like that. But it's fun. You get it worked out.
Jazzy twang sounds sick.
You can't forget about the jazzy twang part. So with Brightside specifically, if we were to, take this album that you have now, I understand it's not done, but the music's there, and the music's in your head, so you know it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take Brightside of today, time travel back to, the earliest version of Brightside with this lineup. Because I know this, so that was what you said, 2013-ish?
Yeah, 2013.
You said that lineup, right? And you bring them the album that you have written now. Do you think that the Brightside of 2013 would be stoked about this? Or would they be like, what is this?
I think we'd probably be pretty happy. I think this album's kind of what we wanted the last album to be, I think.
That's great.
As far as like production and stuff too, like it sounds just way better than anything we've done before.
That would be the biggest difference.
Where are you recording?
We're recording with Dave Klug,
Okay, cool.
his studio, and where's that?
Mount Washington.
But yeah, we tracked this album live, so that was the first time we've done that for the album. So, but that was kind of like what we had envisioned when writing these songs was like, we've gone into the studio and doing stuff with the click and laying down the different parts, but since we've all known each other for so long, we just thought there was always like a little bit missing from doing that, so we wanted to do this one live to kind of get a little bit more of those tiny dynamics and stuff. So
incredibly difficult to capture the same energy when you're tracking like that.
Mm-hmm.
As somebody that does like studio stuff, I completely like having that like puppet master control of everything being isolated, because you can mix it and it sounds really cool, but it's really, really hard to neglect that like you're always sacrificing some level of like passionate performance when you're in that sterile environment, and like you're just like sure, you're playing out of an amp, but it's in another room behind glass, like you can't really feel it, you can't get that right energy, and like you're almost encouraged to like overplay whenever you're in that environment, because like you'll probably have the perfect take, but it's not perfect, so you scrap it, and then you end up settling more for like something that's like, I don't know, more technically correct in terms of like the grid and the computer screen versus like the actual feel of the track, and you don't even realize it until everybody's done recording, and then at that point it's too late to even go in. But when you have everybody in the space together, you can kind of just feel it out and listen to it. How was the experience recording all that stuff? Did you do the vocals too, or you did the vocals
just
separate?
did the instruments live.
Just did the instruments live. Did you feel that you had to do a lot of takes of stuff?
We had to.
I guess it was like,
I don't think it. I didn't think there was anything that we specifically like had to do tons of takes. And we still tracked the whole thing in what,
like a week.
Yeah, like
and we did 10 songs, and
that's awesome.
Like probably like I think one day we did like 2 or 3 songs, like just got them all done. I think like it was probably like 5 hours each song, probably just playing it over and over again till we wanted it to die.
Did you do a lot of like tone changings or like mic placement changes between songs, or was like it pretty universal?
It was pretty universal
throughout the thing.
Yeah. I mean, he has done live stuff before, so he knew what we wanted.
Cool.
And like now that we've heard it, he definitely knew what we wanted. Like it sounds like what I think we went into wanting. We wanted it to sound like a 70s album.
Okay.
Like everything's live. And,
yeah.
Because the thing I hate about our old music is I hear it and it sounds like what you were saying. It sounds like I'm playing it like a robot.
It's too stiff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a buddy's old band of mine. I've called them out way too many times on the podcast, so I'm not going to do it again. But who they were doesn't really matter. The fact was they were a fantastic live band.
Mm-hmm.
But every time they recorded something, I always used to say it just sounds like somebody like scrubbed your songs down with a Brillo pad.
Yeah.
And like this is like so clean. I feel like I just like licked a wet nap.
Yeah.
Like that's what like listening to your music feels like. But you see them live and it's like crazy raw, super good energy. You know, the singer would just let it rip and like decent voice, but it would like sometimes crack. You'd get a little crazy, but on record it gets like all perfect and kind of quiet because like every little note needs to be right. And it's just like, man, this is It's like I don't understand like the purpose of like writing guitar music if you're not just gonna play the fucking guitar.
Yeah.
It's like I almost feel like the way they recorded the songs, it would have sounded better as like Chainsmoker songs. Like just turn them into pop format, transition it all to synthesizers, sing pretty on it, and it would probably do well.
For sure. I feel like a lot of the time people think that's what they need to, you know, have any type of like success, like in terms of like radio stations, any of that shit. But a lot of the time it's like you're true to your sound. I feel like that'll make the better record. You know what I mean?
I think you could get that feeling in your head if you end up working with the wrong producer or engineer, something like that. You mentioned that the person that did your stuff knew what you wanted.
Yeah.
And that makes all the difference in the world. You know, it's you don't go to Burger King looking for General Tso's chicken.
Yeah.
Right? Like you need
But if they had it, I would get it.
we all probably would.
We should do that.
I think that finding that right person to capture your sound is really crucial. I think sometimes a lot of bands, especially coming up, you know, they'll get this opportunity like, oh, we get to work with somebody that co-produced one song on an obscure Weezer album 15 years ago. And, you know, because they have, like, they're going out of their way to work with people for the clout because of the credit. But that person has no idea what the band actually needs.
Yeah, we've made that mistake.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Big time.
Just like working with the wrong engineer type of thing or wrong producer.
I feel like we worked with every wrong engineer. Like they were all like good in their own senses. It's just it was never the perfect match until this last one.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing too. Is it can be really hard to figure out what it is, and it's almost like, you know, getting a bad tattoo. It's like once it's done, it's like, well, should have thought more about that one. But now I have this fucking tattoo.
And we also sucked too. It wasn't just them.
Yeah.
Because it's like robotic and sloppy at the same time, which is fucking wild.
It makes no sense.
Recording is really weird. I think that especially just no matter what, like there's always that extra sense of pressure and stress that you could practice and know the songs as many times as you want. You could play as many live shows as you want. As soon as you get in the studio, everything changes.
Yeah, completely.
We just recorded Greywalker. We recorded a live album on Friday.
Yeah.
Nice.
And, you know, we practiced the shit out of it. We were playing show, you know, we're rehearsed.
Yeah.
But as soon as we started, everything felt so unbelievably different. Just that stress of like, we're recording, we're actually in the space, there's people here that are watching us, and like, you know, I'm not used to the way that this PA sounds. Like all those stupid little nuances throwing me off.
Oh, 100%. That shit fucks me up so bad, dude. Like my palms get sweaty and stuff. Like when I'm recording, like it gets terrible. I have so many like little things.
And with us, like, I mean, we're a metal band, so we're always playing really loud.
Yeah.
But because of we're recording the live stuff, we like adjusted the amp settings a little bit differently, so like we could like actually capture good audio.
For sure.
But it sounded really fucking weird in the room because like everything, like the drums were way louder than they normally are because we can't turn those down as much as sound engineers love to tell our drummer to not hit so hard.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's just a weird situation. It worked out, but I guess the point that I'm getting at is just like that. I love that idea of being able to just like record all that stuff, and I'm excited to hear it. We actually played two brand new songs in that set, so it'll be fun because that'll be like the first recordings of those songs.
Oh yeah,
will be those live recordings.
Nice, that's awesome.
And you know what? You need to pick and choose if there is anything.
Yeah, that'll be
overanalyze it.
Oh yeah, definitely gonna overanalyze it. I mean, we're gonna use everything we did. Yeah, because we're doing a vinyl release for it. So we did our side A set, side B set, encore song. That's it. If it sucks, it sucks. It's like I'm just kind of looking at it as like this is a timepiece of us as a band. We've been playing for 5 years. This is where we are now. This is a cool artifact. This is as good as we got in this time.
Yeah.
If it's not very good, at least it's honest.
Yeah, for sure.
That's true.
Where'd you do it?
It won't be.
222.
Oh, in Ormsby.
How is the new
Oh, nice.
222? We still haven't been there.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's the same.
It's like the
It's
old
the same.
Ormsby, but the bands are playing in a different corner.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's completely unacceptable.
It is
What?
weird.
Is all the graffiti and stuff still there? Like, did they
There's
change
some
anything?
different graffiti in there.
Okay.
I know that whenever the building originally sold, I think a lot of the stuff got painted over.
Makes
and then
sense.
People put more
Mhm.
graffiti in there.
Nice.
But yeah, so like now, like whenever you walk, you know, like you used to walk in the main door and the bands would be playing directly to your right.
Mhm.
It's like on that same wall, but it's in like the back left corner.
Mhm.
Is where they have the PA set up now.
I saw
Yeah.
some bands playing that corner.
Yeah, I think we might have played in that corner
Definitely.
once.
Yeah.
Might have played in
I feel like every show I ever played there was in the other corner.
Same.
Mainly the
Yeah,
other
man.
corner.
Yeah.
Once we played in the center for sure.
Oh yeah.
Interesting. It's really
Like, in
hot
between the
in
two
there.
corners,
Was it
yeah.
hot when you did it? Was it like crazy hot?
I was way too stressed out to think about the temperature.
Yeah, I
You're
played there
spot
like
anyway.
once. I mean, it definitely was like the summertime, but I was like the sweatiest I'd ever been.
I can
like, this
imagine
last
it being
summer.
hot in there in the summer.
Yeah, it gets
I mean,
real
this was
hot.
on Friday, so it was like you know,
Uh-huh.
a solid 35 outside.
I'll take it, dude. Yeah, that's nice.
Tourists.
Yeah, we get real
We
sweaty.
get really hot.
Yeah, this side of the table gets real sweaty.
The side of the table sweating.
Yeah, it's so funny. I don't know what happens when you're just like in that environment and just like something. I wish I could like harness that energy in the practice space so I could learn how to deal with it appropriately.
Dude, 100%. I feel like it's the same though with anything, because even with like practicing for shows and stuff, I feel like it's the same thing. Like the show never feels how it does in practice. There's still that element of like your body's a little bit tighter. You know what I mean?
And it's like the guys are always talking about like, yeah, we used to have to like start practicing headbanging at practice. And, like, the
Yeah.
concept of that just seems so absurd.
Yeah.
But it's like now, like I don't know. I'm like sore after playing
Dude.
shows now.
Yeah. I'm sore right now from practice yesterday. Like, yeah. Yeah. But I was tossing it around a little bit. So
Yeah.
no.
With the future of Brightside after this release, you planning to like try to like really do the thing? You doing like you're gonna try to like get a label to put it out? You're gonna try to do some touring things, or is this gonna be more of like we're gonna release it and just whatever happens happens?
Pretty sure we're self-releasing it, no matter what. I don't really think we want to work with the label again.
So you had worked with a label in the past?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was that experience like?
It's fine.
Yeah.
Not at the end.
But it was good. We got like vinyl records
Yeah.
whenever we were unable to do that. We got a lot of touring support. Like we got to like do things that we were not capable of doing at that time.
Yeah.
But now that we are older, like we kind of have capabilities. Like Matt is like the ability to like put out our records for us.
Cool.
So essentially, it's like just to the point where we're like, well, if we can just do it ourselves, that's like going to be the easiest way. But we got a lot of opportunities that we wouldn't have gotten in the past through that. So it was good.
It's true.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like it's something that's not really for everybody. And if you're willing to put in the little bit of extra effort, you could do a few Google searches and most likely you'll be doing everything that a label would be doing for you nowadays anyways. Unless it's like,
Interscope.
yeah, like a huge label, like
Yeah.
something like super sick. But
Yeah, they're
nothing against any like
Yeah,
indie
we'd probably
labels or-
sign.
Yeah, nothing against any of the active indie labels or DIY labels. They're doing the Lord's work out there,
For
you know,
sure.
helping people stuff out. But it's really not that hard to put your own music out.
Yeah.
So
I think
Yeah.
it's also cooler for a band to do that themselves anyway.
it's,
Probably.
it's nice to be on your own timetable
Yeah.
and not know like what is going on.
Yeah.
Like, and it's also good, I think, too, just to understand how that sort of stuff works. So, say in the future you do get say this self-release project does really well. Let's say Interscope is like, yo, Brightside, we want to pick that up. At least now you have some fundamental, basic understanding of like what goes into putting out a record. So you'll
Yeah.
have a better understanding of like what the language is and if like they're trying to fuck you or not, or
Yeah.
you know, all those little things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it's always better to come at it from that angle too, because I feel like so many bands go into it where they record something and they're just sending, hundreds of emails every day to as many labels as and they're just like consumed with trying to like get this like I don't know, verification from some sort of label, you know. And like we've all done that shit, you know. We've been through that. But like I feel like it gets to a point where you focus on the music, you focus on putting it out and making sure it gets put out the right way. And then, you know, if you get someone reaches out, post that, that's a great thing, you know. But if you go into it like if that's the first priority, I feel like it never works out the way they want it to.
Yeah,
you know?
I feel like there's a whole lot of time wasted in trying to spam mediocre content to people that aren't interested. I would say it's like so much more important just to focus on the craft and putting out really good music and writing really good stuff and just doing that on your own, because it'll speak for itself if it's good. There's been plenty of artists that have, you know, been very successful on a small scale, but successful enough that have just they make good fucking music.
Yeah,
and people talk about it.
Yeah,
the internet, it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's a terrible mindset to be in too. Just like waiting for those responses, just like you know, you're just so like I don't know, get so in your own head. You know, you get so in the music in like this dark negative way. You could have just been focused on the music and like getting it out to the people. And,
I get a lot of emails from people. I think that I must be on some weird like promotional mailing list somehow from the podcast. So I get like emails from PR people and managers and bands all the time. They have nothing. They don't want to come on the podcast. They just like assume that like I promote shows or something. Like they're just. But basically, it's just like desperate emails. Like everything about it just reeks of like, please pay attention to me. Yeah. And it's like I don't care how good this is. It's like I'm just turned off by like this whole presentation.
For sure. And from my experience too, it's like the only people that do respond to the emails, like what they tell me is like if they're going to reach out to you, it's going to be because they heard of you, like not from you telling them. You know what I mean? So it's way better to just focus on becoming the band that you want to be by your own volition. You know what I mean? And then the things that you want to happen, like that's the only way that they might even happen, I think.
Yeah, or I think also like with Gray Walker, we had reached out to some specific people, and it was very specific and targeted, and trying to make sure that it's, if you're writing somebody, let them know that it's like, hey, I know who you are, and I'm hitting you up for a very specific reason. Instead of just like, hi, I'm Brian from the death metal band Gray Walker. We think that you would like our music. Attached is our one sheet and download to our MP3 album. Please check it out in our video on YouTube. It's just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But if it's just like, hey, like, you know, like, Steve, know that you, hey, Steve, know that you work with this one band, you know, we played a show with them a couple months ago, and they mentioned that you worked with you, you know, because it's like a personal thing. That's the only time we'll ever email somebody.
For sure.
It's just like, or when people email me and they're like, hey, I know the podcast, I'm friends with Brightside, and, you know, would you ever consider having me on? Yeah. If you hit me up for a direct thing, that's fine, but don't spam me.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
100%.
Yeah. So there's no timetable for this record. You got you got 2 singles that are out right now.
Yeah, so that's the
record's pretty much done.
Yeah, you're just
probably like I'm thinking winter. Probably,
Yeah,
but also there's like the 3-month period of the records being made and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's part of it.
So you're gonna be pressing it.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
What about CDs? You still do CDs?
I haven't owned a CD like since.
What about cassettes? How do you feel? Did that fall off? You still do cassettes?
We have a bunch of cassettes.
We have way too many cassettes.
Yeah, they're for sale.
All of them. You have to buy them all.
Take some of these cassettes.
Got them in my attic right now.
Buy them in bulk.
You should run with me. Yeah.
Take them to Costco.
I mean, I think we're all kind of like on the same page of sometime in early 2020, you know. But we've talked about it. It's like the no pressure thing is nice. Like since there's no date, we don't have to be like, all right, man, I need you to finish all the vocals by the first of the year. Come on, what are you doing? You know, it's more like, hey, let's get into the studio when we can. You know, even if we think the songs are done, let's go in and just, you know, see what we can add to make them better. So that's nice. You know, it's just having that kind of early 2020 mindset. You know, we're still making moves to get it done. But
yeah, I think the other cool thing too is self-releasing. You're able to do it on your own schedule, on your own time, and it'll be ready when it's ready. Like, what is the rush?
Yeah, that's specifically why I didn't like working with the label. I just wanted to say that. Not that the label was bad, just having like no say in the times and stuff is kind of what sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's better to be in control since it's your project, you know.
especially when it's something that you know that you can do yourself.
Yeah.
I imagine for some bands or people that have no understanding of even how like getting a sticker made works, it's maybe a little bit easier for them.
Yeah.
But if you're in a position when it's like
having the time and like the ability to go back and tweak songs and stuff has been pretty essential for this record, I think.
Yeah, we've never had that. Like when a song is recorded,
it's done.
No matter how bad it is.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, that's a done song.
It took me a really long time to learn the patience to maturing songs. And no matter what, it's like, sure, this is a song right now, but it's not necessarily the song that it could or should be.
Yeah.
And really, it seems like the only way songs become what they need to be is just by, you get a demo recorded and you listen to it, you play it, you practice it, you play it live, you test it, at least like with Greywalker, we're always testing things at like different tempos and this and see how things react, how it feels. Like, can we actually play this live? That's a big part of some of our like more shreddy stuff, have these grand ideas and then it's just like, well, I think, that BPM's a little bit too crazy for what we're trying to do. Let's slow it down. And just finding those things that like make the song actually work.
Yeah.
Versus like, well, this is all and we got this all figured out. Let's record it right away and then play shows. That's the thing that always like, I guess I don't have a problem with bands that do this, but like the whole thing where it's like bands that will like never played a show, but they have like a whole album, like this whole merch rollout thing, and then they come out the gate all like, here's our album, here's our merch, and blah, blah, blah. And then you watch them play, and it's like, oh, you obviously haven't been playing any shows. Like, everything looks and sounds great, but everything just feels like it's not fully together yet.
Yeah.
Especially with, like, guitar-driven music, like playing that stuff.
Oh, yeah, dude. It takes so long to figure it out. I feel like it takes so long for shit to actually sound and feel good as a band, So it's like, I don't know. That's something that's, like, just as important as any of... That's probably one of the most important parts about being a band is, like, figuring out how you work together, figuring out how to listen to each other, how to read each other, and how to build off of each other, And it's different with any version of people, like, yeah.
And when you eliminate the potential for, like, the happy accident...
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's a really unfortunate thing to not give yourself room for.
For sure.
Like, always when some of the coolest stuff happens.
100%.
Super cool. I'm like really excited to hear the stuff whenever it comes out. It's cool to know that you tracked it live. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Want to see more bands doing that. Shows? You have anything booked right now? You're just kind of hanging back, focusing on the album?
Yeah, we already did that. We already played the shows. We'll play some in the future, probably.
Yeah, I guess like you had mentioned that the album was going to be self-released, but like with like like touring and promoting and things like that, is that something that you're interested in doing?
Yeah.
I think we will probably tour on the album. Do like we have so many connections and stuff. So like from touring and years of being a band, so like it's something we definitely plan on doing and doing by ourselves. Also, just kind of doing it.
No bands on the road. One band bills. Brightside only.
That would suck.
How do you
20
feel?
minutes of music.
3 bands.
20 minutes.
3 bands. No more.
Yeah, I was gonna ask like, how do you feel about like, what is the ideal number of bands for you?
It's 3. 3 band shows only.
Those are
3
my
or
favorites.
music festival.
3 is good.
Like,
3 is perfect.
Yeah.
2 is great. The best show I ever saw was like 1
2
opener.
is really nice. Yeah. two heavy hitters, better than any 3
Yeah.
show, honestly.
Yeah, if it's like 2 bands that are like really popular, then I don't need to see an opener.
Yeah, I think when we did the show on Friday, it was 2 bands. We used since both sets were recorded, we used like all the same backline and everything, so it was just like super.
That's
easy
so
and
nice.
relaxed,
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Get there early. You got some time to set it up. You can still start the show late enough so people show up. So it's like, the band that nobody would have been there to watch, now I don't have to deal with going around their gear and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Just keep it simple. I don't know when I guess there was just a lot of bands, and nobody wants to say no to people, so you start end up having shows with like 8 bands on them.
Yeah, dude.
But like
way too much.
Which in theory is like cool because it's like, oh yeah, there'll at least be 30 more people in the room because you have 8 bands on the bill. But
So many
like
people showed up.
all the there's
also-
like nowhere to put the gear, and there's nowhere to park now, and there's
No time for sets. Everybody's
Yeah.
like 5 minutes to play. Yeah.
That was good for Young Us though.
Yeah.
We like only played like 5 band shows only.
Remember that Punxsutawney show?
Oh yeah,
It was sick.
some of the bands.
That
Well-
was sick.
That was also a show where we got the fuck out of there.
Nah, we stayed and hung out.
You did. We,
Oh,
yeah, we
I
stayed
got,
in
yeah,
there.
we got the fuck out.
Oh wait, that show.
Yeah.
Oh,
We were hanging out.
That show was yeah.
You were
I don't know
there,
how to
yeah.
describe it. Was that? Yeah, that was hilarious.
they had like a slip and slide.
There
It
was a
like,
slip and slide.
Yeah.
So like this weird. It was like
It was a
music
weird
festival.
country.
Yeah, it was like I won't even say music. It was a music festival in the country.
It was like this dude's family
Whoa.
picnic.
Yeah, it's like
it was a
dude's,
family
like,
picnic.
ranch.
It was a barbecue.
Yeah, it was essentially just a small barbecue.
It was like a porch
Barbecue
with
that
a bunch of
Brightside was playing.
tarps on it.
It was like
That
an hour. How long
sick.
did we drive? It was like an hour and a half away or some shit.
okay.
It's a good
You
picture
have
of
no
Matthew
idea
with
what
the
you're getting into.
groundhog.
Hey, we played some badminton.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That
Badminton's
was good.
always
That was
great.
good, yeah.
Always excellent. Always a pleasure to play badminton.
Favorite pastime.
Yeah, those sort of gigs are really. It's real. That's a gamble.
We just never know.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
you
just never
You
know.
never know.
You never
At
know.
the 420 house.
Oh yeah.
We were on tour and we went to this house that the address was 420. We thought it was a joke. And there was no one there.
There was
I
a couple
knocked
people
on the
sitting on the
door.
couch.
There
Yeah.
were people sitting on a couch and there was an amp in the house. But I knocked on the door and was like, hey, we're here for the show. And the guy looked at me like he had no idea what I was talking about because there was not a show there. And we just went to Starbucks.
Yeah, that was a classic.
And that was in,
Indiana.
like, Indiana.
Yeah.
Weird.
And we stayed in some weird basement. Steve
Oh,
shot
yeah,
me in the
that
eye
was
with a
when you
BB
got
gun.
shot, yeah.
Played some Foursquare.
Yeah.
Shot Dylan.
Sounds like it ended up being a good time.
It was alright.
I mean, like I had a good time. These like I'm
I
pretty
was
sure
in
you guys
fear.
thought. Yeah,
I
you
was
definitely thought
completely
that we
in
were.
fear.
Yeah.
Indiana was really nice.
Yeah, pretty cool place.
Play some Foursquare.
Yeah, we just got to that house and they were shooting in the basement. They were shooting guns in the basement.
BB guns, not real.
Yeah,
guns.
but it was loud, so I was afraid.
Cool. Before we wrap all of this stuff up, who wants to take the plunge and plug the band's social media accounts?
Yeah, it's gonna be Matt.
It's gonna be fun, heavy.
I think you just volunteered.
BrightSidePGH.bandcamp.com is our Bandcamp, and we have a Spotify. If you search Brightside, it'll be the third band called Brightside because 2 other bands came out of nowhere. And we're on Apple Music, Brightside.
Yeah.
Our Apple Music is combined with a different Brightside. Because just go on Spotify. If you want to listen to us, we're on YouTube, youtube.com.
The YouTube?
Yeah, the YouTube. They dropped the. The facebook.com/:brightsidepgh. I don't fucking know.
Did it?
That's it. You did a
We have
great,
it.
you did a
That's
great
it.
job.
You
That's
know,
it.
that's
That's a good
all.
job.
Out of the park. Yeah.
Good
great-
job.
great work.
Yeah, I'd say be sure to follow them, check them out. Chances are, if you're still watching this an hour in, you're probably already friends and family or colleagues of some sort of
Family.
these,
Our
of
moms.
these fine folk. So you probably already know where to find them. But hey, tell some people, share this episode around, keep an eye out for their new music. Keep an eye
Also,
out for
new
their shows.
single.
Yeah, there's 2 new singles that are out now. Are those on Spotify?
Yes.
Bandcamp?
Spotify.com.
The third Brightside.
Yeah.
Cool. On the Spotify.com. And yeah, so with all that being said, that is all, folks. Thanks so much for listening.
That was all. Is that one?
Brightside, thank you guys for coming by.
Thank you for
Thanks for
having
having
us.
Thank you.
Very, very happy to
Always
have you.
a pleasure.
I'll be back again in a couple days with another episode. Same time, same place, same channel. You know the drill. My name is Sykes. Start the beat. 2000 and 19 or 20. I don't know when this is going up. Either at the end of the month or early next month. Whatever. You know when it is if you're watching. Woo-hoo! Thanks for listening. And we are done. Yes. Yeah, I surprisingly don't have that sound effect.
We can get it for you.
We all have it.
Excellent!
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's an interesting way to get to know you.